Well, everybody that owns something thinks what they own is worth a lot more than it is. Step one, getting an alignment of realistic expectations of value. We prefer to start off with a third-party valuation of the clinic itself. That's not including the real estate, of course, but it's just the goodwill, the clinic. But getting an idea around what is your hospital worth and preparing you for that is very, very important for us. And then also talking about the real estate, if real estate is a component. We have partners that will come in and do a broker price opinion to give you an idea of what that's worth. But really getting alignment around the vision of the value expectations before we go to market is extremely important. Everyone that owns a hospital is going to sell that hospital at some particular point. You have one shot, and you have one shot to get it right. So it takes some preparation. You cannot be over-prepared. And I like to tell people we should start speaking early and often, preparing you for that. So this is a one-shot opportunity that you have, so you really need to make sure that you have a plan in place. I like to start 2 to 3 years out, quite frankly, beginning with evaluation, beginning with setting expectations and goals, and planting a flag on the horizon and working towards that. Well, being an employee is pretty comfortable. Show up, you do your columns in your schedule, and you can go home and relax, and that's it. Ownership requires a little bit more of an entrepreneurial mindset, but someone that wants to be a leader and a leader of teams, and to have something that they can call their own, and at some point down the road be able to sell it as well. You're going to make more money as an owner, always going to make more money as an owner than you are working for someone else. But most importantly, I feel, is work-life balance. Most veterinarians that I speak with are working at least 5 days, if not 6.5 days a week. Doesn't leave a lot of time for fun and family and things of that nature. But when you own something, you can tailor make it exactly the way you want it. Well, for a young vet who comes right out of vet school, it's very difficult to go out and buy a hospital. So I really encourage, go work for some big groups, some small groups, learn what to do, in some cases learn what not to do, and start developing your plan and start speaking to other people who have started their own hospitals as well. Find out what worked well with them and what didn't. But I see somewhere around that 5-year mark where you got your hand speed up, you've seen some things in the hospital that you're currently working in that you can apply. You've talked to other friends that have done this and they've made mistakes. They've shared with you their mistakes, but also their successes. And so it just starts with really just spending the time, learning, and always keeping your eyes open where you are. And once again, having a goal to be an owner. Well, I believe that's a very good question when it comes to really considering getting some help and guidance in selling your hospital. You have one shot to get it right, and you should take the advice of professionals. You wouldn't come to me to do a surgery on your pet, even though I can probably walk through some of the processes because I've seen it done. You wouldn't come to me for that. I'm not an expert with that. I'm an expert at helping do transitions and do transitions very smoothly. And we're very relational. We're not transactional. We want to make it right for the client post-closing. And that's something that they don't quite understand when they're going into this. If they want to stick around and work, it's very important to focus on what happens after the sale, not necessarily leading up to the sale. But it is a process with many steps. It starts with a conversation, and that's step one of maybe 70 steps. So you need an advocate on your side, and we only represent sellers. That's why we do that, is we feel that's a very ethical way that we are going to help the seller through this process, taking care of their baby, their lifelong work, their staff, their patients, and be able to transition it to someone like them and prepare a good lifestyle for them after the sale.